Welcome to the 98% podcast, where we hear real stories from real people. And I'm here with Danny Lebeck. So, Danny, tell me a little about yourself.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me, Ricky. It's been a lot of fun already getting this conversation started. But Danny Lebeck, Colorado native, excited to be here. I'm really about living life to the fullest. Leadership is a huge part of my life, and really inspiring people around me. And getting to know a bunch of new people and exploring around the nature and all the fun stuff. I'm an outdoors guy. Just like to have a good time. That's a little bit about me. Hopefully we'll learn some more in the next little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you know me?
Man, Nike, shout out to Nike Roots. I think when we first met, actually, you were training, you just had become an Ekin, and you were training, I think, with Kat at the time. And I was kind of Ekin and training under Kat as well. And then fast forward a little while, you and I became peers, and, we were Ekins and rode that wave together, and developed a good relationship through there. And we spent the next, probably 5 or so years working pretty closely together.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember that too. I remember really vividly, actually. Like, I was shadowing and I went to that store in Colorado, and I remember seeing you and be like, hey, what's up, man? And I remember just having a conversation like, yeah, this is because I think you were a pro athlete at the time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we had a conversation. I was like, man, this guy's awesome. I remember we went on that run because I have that picture, that selfie I took of us running.
We did. I can't remember what shoe it was, but we were definitely doing a little trial. And took a lap around the mall. Yeah, that's too funny.
It was like Pegasus something. I don't remember which Pegasus. It was a Pegasus of some type, like Pegasus 35. It was, wasn't it?
Probably so. Yeah, sounds right. That's about the timeline.
Dude, that was awesome. Yeah, I remember that pretty vividly. And then one thing that I think is really funny, because we can't tell because you're sitting, is you're really tall. So what I think is funny is this is like, see, I saw you beforehand, but I remember like being at one of the summits, and it was like the first one that you showed up at. I think it was Angel or someone was just like, whoa, Danny's a lot taller than I thought he was. And I was like, yeah.
Sure. I get that just about any time I meet someone in real life off of any Zoom kind of connection. And that was funny because I think that was the first one. And Angel, shout out to Angel, but he was one of the shortest on the team. I was the tallest on the team, and we were roommates. And so that just became a thing from there.
Dude. Oh my gosh. So many funny stories.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no doubt.
So one is Zoom. I always like Zoom. I always like guessing every time I'd see new people, like, okay, let me guess how tall they're going to be. Or, you try to guess. And sometimes, sometimes I've gotten stumped. Like, I had no idea.
Yep, for sure.
But dude, that brings me back to my first roommate. So my first roommate was Shannon. Do you remember Shannon?
Oh, Shannon's from Philly.
Dude, I want to get Shannon on here really bad.
Yeah, he'd be great.
I need to reach out to that guy again. But dude, he was my first roommate. It was the best because I remember. So I don't drink. I think you remember that. And I show up, and this is like first thing is I'm sitting there on the couch, and he rolls in, and he's like, hey man, and he's got like a pack of beer or something. He's like, you want a drink? I was like, nah. I was like, I don't drink. He's like, okay, cool. Well, this is how I'm gonna be drunk every night. I was like, sweet.
Yeah. That sounds accurate. We always had a good time at those summits, man. That was those were some stories. If you want to get into some stories,
yeah, we had some good stories, dude. I love that guy though. We had so much fun together, but we were totally different. We were different in that aspect of like he drank a lot, I didn't drink, but we just vibed well. It was fun, good times.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good guy.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So how this works, Danny, is I'm going to go through a list of questions that I say out, and the goal is just for you to answer. You can go as deep as you want in these questions, and the audience, hopefully they can connect with you emotionally and, just find some common ground or some cool stories or anything like that. So we'll start with the beginning. So what was growing up like for you?
Man, I guess I would describe it as normal, right? I think, and maybe that's partly because that's what I knew. Right. So that's normal to me. I was always into sports, always was playing something. Little fun fact about my sports life is I was a pretty good bowler back in my day, I'll say. That was long ago. But, we would go out camping. You'd go on summer trips. My parents did divorce when I was in, I think it was 4th or 5th grade. So a little younger there. But that never really affected how like the love I felt in those things. There was never a separation of anything there, which I think was really important. My parents always were able to coexist and raise me the right way together, regardless of what was going on, which was super important. And I think looking back on it, those are the things like I'm so thankful for, that they were cordial and everything was good in that regard. And I think that helped me through that situation as well. But, had a pretty normal childhood all the way through. Got into high school. That was a fun time, getting to know a lot of your really good friends at that point in your life, and starting to kind of figure out who you are. But yeah, overall, man, growing up was awesome. Still have some good connections with some friends from then, which is important as well. Just having those lifelong friendships. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I would do it all over again if I could.
Nice. Dude, I wouldn't be a kid again. It's funny because I talk to so many people, they're like, man, if I was only a kid again. I was like, dude, I like being an adult so much better. I don't know about you.
I guess there are maybe less rules, but more rules. You know how the adult life goes. You can have a little more freedom, but you just got more stuff you got to deal with.
Yeah, I guess more responsibility, but I just always feel pretty free. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just weird, because I feel like I'm the only person that thinks that. Everybody's like, man, I wish I could go back to my childhood. I was like, dude, no way. This is awesome.
I love this. Well, hey, that's all right too.
Exactly. So yes, it's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool that you were able, because I've had people on before, right? I feel like divorce is a pretty common thing, it seems like, these days for kids, but it's interesting to hear that dynamic of like where you didn't feel any lack of love, right, in that situation because of how they behaved there. Like that's a good testament to your parents, because that's not always the case, right? I've had, like I said, I've had people on where the divorce is like it just broke them mentally, right? I'm like, man, that sucks so bad. So that's pretty wonderful.
Yeah, and they were able to keep it. I mean, if I didn't need to know, I wouldn't know. Well, like they didn't do it in front of me. There was none of that stuff, so I didn't hear, or anyone was never like talking crap about each other behind their backs. I've heard that story too, right? Like trying to pin the kid against the other parent. And it's like, that's brutal. It's not fair to the kid. That's not anything like that. And I never, had to have that. So I think, again, just like super thankful for them and, what that looked like.
Oh, that's awesome. So I take it, did you end up getting step parents out of this?
I did, on both sides. And they've been together with them for as long as I can remember. So I guess it all worked out how it was supposed to.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the biggest struggle that you made it through?
Oh man, there's always a couple, right? I think everyone goes through their struggles, and the one that I wanted to kind of bring up it was pretty recent, really. It was about a year ago. The background of it, I was out in Oregon visiting some friends. I get a phone call that my grandpa was sick and he was going on hospice. He's been sick for a while, but he was going on hospice, and all right, I'm 36. I've had my grandparents well into my 30s, blessed in that regard as well. But that time is getting there. So I get a phone call. He's going on hospice. About an hour later, he passed away. It was just like right away. Obviously that's tough just in general, of course, right? And then maybe about 2 months later, my grandma on my dad's side of the family. So the grandpa passed was on my mom's side. Grandma, she had a stroke, was sick for about a month or so from that, and never recovered, unfortunately. And we lost her too. And that kind of, and then within a bunch of other family things going on, just nothing like crazy bad, but just life happening. And then at that same time, I was going through this, leaving Nike and starting a new career. As you know, a lot of people obviously don't know, but I was with Nike for 11 years, 11 great years for sure. But a career change was in the cards, and so I was going back and forth and found the job I'm currently in, and I had to make that decision to leave this brand I've been with and built so much and had so many great connections. Is why you and I are here today, and with a new job. Okay, so I interview for this job, I get the job. Great. I'm dealing with my grandparents passing recently. And then that same week that my grandma passed away, I was proposing to my then girlfriend, now fiance.
Yeah.
So the struggle for me was I didn't know how to, like, what emotions to feel And like, was I supposed to be happy for this engagement and this promotion and like all these things I've worked so hard for? Or, obviously kind of be sad and upset and feel those feelings as well, which obviously both are very normal to feel. So going through that and trying to figure out and learn and understand, obviously leaning on my team and my circle, and those people helped me realize that feel those feelings, they're going to change hourly maybe, right? And whatever they are, feel them when that feeling comes. Don't feel bad, I guess, necessarily about feeling good about something that's going on right now. And then when you think, obviously, kind of like the classic, they would want you to be happy. They want to see you doing this. And that always helps ground you as well. But I think just all these, so many big life things were happening, all just crammed into like this really short time, new career, new part of my life with my fiance, like all these big things. And it all just happened at once. And it was really hard for a while to kind of just figure it all out and find that way forward.
Dang. Yeah, that's hard, feeling multiple emotions at the same time, right?
Yeah, it's like, should I be happy? Like, I can't be happy right now. Like, my grandma just passed. Like, that's terrible. But I was obviously super happy for the new job and super sad for those, and then realizing that you can feel those things at the same time. And it's okay to do that and feel those things.
Sure. So how close were you with your grandparents?
I mean, pretty close. We spent a lot of time together, a lot of those like road trips I mentioned. I would go with them, do like the classic going to the Grand Canyon, listen to some funny music on the car rides, and spending a lot of time, all the holidays, birthdays, lunches, whatever it might be. And we have a pretty small family in general. So everyone was pretty tight knit on both sides of the family. And so again, my parents split, my family kind of did the same, but again, both of my grandparents on both sets of my grandparents, I had up until I was like 30, I think 31 when I lost my first grandparent. So they saw me, grow up and do all the things and get to where I'm at. So it was, again, in that regard, so blessed that I was able to have them for that long, which is pretty cool. So that's about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that'd be tough. It'd be tough. I've lost a couple grandparents, but I didn't feel like I was really as close with them as I could have been. But yeah, man, loss is tough.
Yeah, it's always a weird thing. It's a weird thing for sure. And everyone has their own process and just how you deal with it. And you got to give people the space to be able to deal with it in their own way and support them where you can. And that looks different in so many ways. Dinner maybe, or send me a gift card, a funny meme, whatever it is, right? Something that that's you get, do that and show up for your people.
Absolutely. So what's something you're currently going through that's positive or negative?
Man, I'm gonna go positive route now.
Yeah,
for sure. And right now, being a homeowner, man, we just bought a house in June, so
nice.
That is a whole thing. Been a lot of fun. Learning that the list of things to do never ends. And that's also okay. But shout out to my fiance, Katie. I am about, I think, 2 weeks now behind hanging some lights in the backyard. So I'm gonna get it done. But those are the things, right? The list is going. And we got, we got into a nice place we're super excited for, but a lot of learning. We're both first time home buyers. And just learning all of the things, like so many different things. And we did, learn a lot, obviously. And, we're so happy that we're in a house now. Interest rates could be better, of course. But I think that's fair to say for anyone. But, we're excited to be here. We're living in an apartment forever. I've lived in an apartment long time. So it's to have space. Our 2 dogs have a backyard now to run around in. That was really fun bringing them here for the first time and seeing them sniff around and get all excited and those kind of big moments, I guess, in a good time with them. So, yeah, we love it. We're in Firestone, Colorado. So just outside of like Longmont, Boulder area. But it's a really good neighborhood, young families. We love it.
It's awesome. So you have your new homeowners. you've got a fiance, you got dogs. Are there kids in the future there? Is that something you all are pondering?
I wish I could say it's the first time I've heard that question, but fortunately I can't. And so unfortunately I can't say that, but fortunately I can say absolutely. We're looking to get married in about a year, next October. And I'm getting, like I said, I'm 36. I gotta get me a little one running around. So, the plan is we're going to get married and then we're going to have a kid, do our best to have a kid. So, that'll be exciting though. That's a really fun, exciting phase of my life that I'm ready for. And that'll be just a fun experience, I think, all around. And, hopefully they grow up to be awesome little humans.
Dude, that's awesome. Hey, you're going to love being a dad. It's, it's very rewarding, and any fears or things that you may have in the back of your mind, it's all going to be good. Trust me.
Right. Okay. I'm going to remember that. And if it's not, I'm coming for you.
Hey, I'll always be an ear for you if you need to talk about it.
I know you will.
But what's crazy is it's funny because you adapt though in the moment. That's the thing is because when we had Rachel, she was actually like a really interesting baby. So she didn't sleep throughout the night for the first year and a half she was alive. Like it was every 2 hours she'd wake up. And I look back, I'm like, how the heck did I survive? But you find out when you're a parent though, you tend to adapt. It's weird. You just wake up, you do it. You don't even really think about it. You may be tired, but it just seems to come natural. It's really weird. But then as she got older, she's super easy now. So it was just this shift. So it's okay. But, yeah. And you're going to love it. You're going to love being a dad. You're going to love having fun, doing sports, whatever. And, dude, yeah. And it's funny because I thought we were going to have a boy for the longest time. And then we had her. It's wow, I can't imagine not having a daughter.
Right. So, I'm sure. Yeah. And that's, whenever we talk about it, I always say she and her. I'm pretty certain I'm going to be a girl dad for whatever reason. That just comes out when we talk about a kid. I'm like, oh yeah, she's going to be so cute. And it's I didn't not even thinking about it. Just that's what comes out. So, well, I guess we'll see. Maybe about a year and some change, and I'll let you know.
Okay. Yeah. We'll be surprised maybe. Cause that's what we thought. We thought guy the whole time was oh, this is going to be Richard the Fourth. Not that I was going to go that route, but still I was boy. And then all of a sudden we do the reveal and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting.
I just thought it was going to be a boy, and so did almost everybody else. And I was like, okay. So,
yeah, and you bring up a good point about the boy side too, though. I'm the last male Lebeck, so I got a lot. I mean, I got to carry the name, right? So we have to have a boy, kind of, also.
Dude, I've thought about the same thing.
No,
I'm the third, so I should have a fourth, right? I don't have anybody to have a kid with right now.
Yeah. Hey, we got time.
Yeah, I got time.
We got time.
It's just so funny. Richard the Fourth. That'd be good. So, dude, that's awesome. Good. That's exciting, though.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, who is someone who's changed your life that doesn't know it?
And I'll probably have to think of one of my basketball coaches, Coach Gary Becker. Hopefully he tunes in. If this gets shared on Facebook, there's a good chance he will. But he is, he probably has zero idea that, what he taught me has kind of rang through and I've, kind of held on to. But my freshman year in college, I went to a junior college in Casper, Wyoming, Casper College. And he was the coach there. And so again, 17, 18, young kid, thinking I got the answers, thinking I'm a hooper, thinking I'm nice. But you get there, right? And everyone is good. Everyone is good. They're one of the better players from where they came from, whatever the story is, right? And he just just had a way of being like a hard ass, but absolutely doing it in a way that made you want to respond in a positive way.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, I'm like, dang, he taught me so many little things throughout. One thing, being on time, as a 17, 18-year-old, I was just kind of just going to places and trying to be there as close to on time as I could. But he didn't play that at all. So if you were late, that, and late meaning classic, like if you're not there, stretch, tape, all the things ready for practice, you better get there 45 minutes before if you got some stuff you need to do, to get ready for practice. And those things just become life lessons, like I'm almost have anxiety about being late now. So thanks, I guess. But there's so many things, teamwork, instilling like that importance of sometimes there's going to be tough days with your team. You're going to fight, you're going to argue, you're going to, get into it. But that's all kind of forming the bond also, right? That's all part of it, because if we know we arguing because we're passionate most of the time, right? We're passionate about whatever that thing was or is. And you're competitors, you're out there competing, and, as one competitor to another, it doesn't matter if I'm in practice with my buddy, I'm going at you. Like, we're going to go after it, and there's going to be some hard fouls. There's going to be some extra elbows. This is what it is. We're playing ball now. But that's okay. And then when it comes to game time, that these people got your back. And I take that into my professional career as well. Sometimes we're not always going to agree on a certain initiative or a certain plan or where we're trying to go or whatever we're trying to do. And that's okay. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out, find a common ground, and understand where everyone's coming from. And then let's go handle it. So a lot of those things just really, been instilled for me. And I really, give a lot of credit to him for just the way he did it. So kind of I don't want to say peacefully, because, it wasn't always all peace and love. We got cussed out a few times for sure. But he got us focused and got us together, and we were absolutely a team for it.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude, conflict resolution is important, because the thing is you can't have a good relationship without conflict, right? Because if everything's so peaceful, then there's a problem, because someone isn't speaking up.
Someone's not talking.
Exactly. Unless you all are identical, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So it's interesting. Yeah. It's funny how that works. In relationships, right? They say the best ones are about rupture and repair, right? So having those issues where things come up and something happens, but then guess what? You figure out a way to get through it. And then before you know it, that bond is better. And to your point, right? Then you have a certain level of trust there too.
Trust. Yeah. And trust is massive when you talk about, sport, relationships, obviously work, whatever it is. You got to trust the people you're around. And that's what's going to get everything kind of working together and understanding hey, if you're having a bad day or whatever it is, I know they're going to pick me up, or if they're having a bad day, I'm going to pick them up, and, we're going to get through it together. And again, those are life things. That's not, specific to sports at any case. So that's, he was great.
Dude, that's awesome. Glad you had a good coach.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. He was awesome.
Okay. So what's a skill or talent that you could share with us?
Man, a skill or talent. Let's see here. So currently in my new job, quick background, I now am in coffee. Went from selling shoes to selling coffee. Crazy switch up. But so I do a lot of I'm the director of franchise training for Ziggy's Coffee, which is awesome. So really, helping build out a training program, tools, resources, et cetera, and how to get that to the stores and, make it digestible and all the things that we want to do with the information we're trying to give them. And you and I have been in this space for quite some time, with training and development. And we probably can agree on the best way to teach it and understand it is to do it and learn it. So I've been working on my barista skills a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't tell too many people, but we're working on it, and it's been a lot of fun being able to get in there and get in the stores, and I will say I'm not all the way confident on my barista skills yet, but we're getting there. We're having fun, we're learning, we're engaging with the team, and all those things that are so important when it goes into training and development and all those team morale, all those things. So I'll say that's one thing that I am currently in progress. I'll leave it. I'm in progress on barista skills.
Nice. I'm not surprised though, because if I recall, right, when we went to summits, you were definitely a coffee connoisseur, right?
Oh, no doubt. That's always been a part of me for sure. So it definitely fits. In a funny little side story, I have a little Air Jordan 1 tattoo right here and a little coffee cup right on the other side, kind of matching spots, done years ago. So funny, like
okay.
fast forwarding, I don't know what was going on, but like I knew I was going to sell shoes and I was going to do coffee. I don't know. So that was kind of weird when I realized that. I was like, oh, whoa, that's bizarre. And they're like, yeah, but it's been, yeah, really fun to learn the other side of it for sure. And getting in there.
Okay. 2 questions. One, this is a two-parter. So what is your coffee of choice? And then what is your favorite to make?
Okay, that's a good question. So, for those of you who don't know about Ziggy's, hopefully you will soon. We're growing like crazy. Little plug there, but um, we have a drink there called the Gold Rush Cold Brew. It is heavy cream, caramel, and cold brew, and it is fantastic. I'll say without a doubt my favorite. Anyone who knows me at any of the stores, when I pull up, like, let's get one of those ready. So that's the go-to.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be that's the one I like to make also, because I do truly know how to make that one. I can say that with confidence. I can make you a Gold Rush. And our menu is pretty extensive, so there's a lot of fun drinks to make. We have all kinds of stuff, but yeah, those in the blenders are kind of fun just because you get to blend some stuff up.
Dude, that's awesome. Okay, so now, do you know how to do the designs on top of the coffees?
Ooh, no, sir. I think I'm still down here. Designs and coffee. You're making moves, but I'll say I'll get there. I can I'm pretty nice at pouring it, but we haven't really advanced to that part yet. So, you'll be the first to know. How about that? My first design that actually looks like something.
Okay,
I'll let you know.
Sweet. So what's the design you're looking forward to? Like, what are you gonna do first?
I mean, I guess I gotta just go with I like the little like the leaves that they do kind of. Those are always good. And then just like a classic heart, something easy, something for the lovebirds.
Hey, I like it. Okay. So what's something you're learning about currently that you can teach us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily learning this right now, but it's something that I'm really focusing on, and then making sure that I'm kind of bringing up and kind of just saying and empowering in an empowering kind of way to the people we work with. But it's really just all about celebrating the small wins. It's really simple. But I think so often we get caught up in the big thing, right? It's easy to celebrate a promotion or a wedding or buying a new house. Like, those are obvious. But what we need to focus on is all the little wins that took us to get there. You don't just go from here to here. That's just not how it works. And if it does, congratulations. But it's built up of all these small wins, and with your peers, someone on their first day, the impact we can have on people when we celebrate those little things goes so far, and it just kind of plants that seed that, like, we are a team. We're going to build upon this, and we're going to continue to grow. And it's just been something I really brought front of mind, because you just don't hear a lot of just those little things, and sometimes maybe you don't hear them yourself. And it's like people are making really big progress when you really zoom in on it. From if you're scoped out, maybe not as much, but when you zoom in, it's like, oh man, like, you've done this, and this, or if running or track is always an easy one. Like, you've cut off 2 seconds over however long a time. That's massive when it comes to running and racing like that. And those are massive wins that maybe is going to get that person to a gold medal one day, right? And yeah, so that's something I've really put front of mind, and kind of bring it up as much as I can with anyone I'm interacting with, or teaching, and some of the leaders I'm working with. That's something I really try to focus on.
Yeah, dude, it's super important. Like, I don't think enough people give enough people recognition, right? Like, I remember a lot of I was dealing with that with Nike forever. It was like trying to get the leaders to like, hey, did you just see that interaction with that person that athlete had? And they're like, yeah. I was like, go let them know. Right.
Yes. Yeah.
And
exactly.
then they come back after they do it. And they're like, dude, they were super excited. They were thrilled about us. Okay, how often do we do that? We never do that. Why?
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, it's because that's the expectation to do it. It's like, okay, so how do you think they feel? Right? They're doing a good job every day. and nobody's recognizing it. But guess what? You will recognize them when they show up first time late, though. Right.
So 100%.
So you start thinking about how, I don't know. I've been trying to talk about that and preach that forever because that's the case, man. I remember being in that position where it's like, when I came in, I worked hard, but guess what? I only got talked to when something bad happened. And it's like, okay, well, I don't feel like you're investing in me. I don't feel like you care that I'm here. And I don't feel like you're noticing all the really good stuff I'm doing. And it's interesting. So, but it happens all the time. We just forget to celebrate those small wins, like you said.
Yeah. So and I agree with you, man. It's so powerful what just a few words can do. Even going into the office or wherever you work and just saying hi to everybody, going into a store. Hey, what's up? How's everybody doing? Doesn't have to be anything crazy. I don't need to know about your whole weekend, but just acknowledging the fact that you're here. I'm here. We're in this together. We're working, and have a good day. Take care. Good work today. These little points of conversation that really, maybe that's the first time that person's heard that in months.
Yeah.
Right. Like you talk a lot about, is your cup empty or full? Right. Yeah. Some of those small wins, you start celebrating those and that cup starts filling up a little bit. Right. And we're not doing that. It can go the opposite direction. Right. And you never want that with anything.
Exactly. So, what are you doing for fun right now?
For fun right now, man. I am in a men's basketball league at Lifetime. Shout out to you Hoops. That's been a lot of fun. That's been fun, man. Getting back into it. Playing with a few buddies of mine, and it's been fun, but I'm sore, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I am sore from the moment the game ends until the next game starts, and we play once a week. So, that is kind of how that works. But I'm out there having a good time, man. If anything, it's good cardio. Been having my body try to remember. My brain's like, oh yeah, you know how to do that. You can do this, make that. And it's like, the body's like, whoa, bro, relax. But it's been a lot of fun for sure.
Dude. Yeah. So I was playing the basketball league for a while too. Well, not a league. I wouldn't say league, but I was playing once a week with some guys. Dude, and it was so much fun. I love the cardio aspect. I love competitiveness. I just played post because I lost my shot and I didn't practice enough to get it back. So I just played post and did post moves, and
there you go.
Dude, just tried to be a powerhouse down there. It was fun though, but I still play every once in a while when I get back in town. It's back in Iowa, but
okay.
Dude, it's fun. It's funny because I'm not a biggest fan of basketball necessarily, but dude, just playing with some guys, some friends and stuff it's a great time, man.
Yeah, and it's one of those sports too that is cool because you can just go like shoot around by yourself if you want to go get some shots up.
You could. I should have.
Yeah, maybe you should have tried that, a couple times. But hey, I would be lying if I said I've been getting shots up. So exactly. I haven't either. Yeah. I just show up and hope for the best. And, if I don't, have a turned ankle at the end of the day, that's a great game we had. That is a great game. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Okay. So let's see. Okay. So this is a good one. So we've talked about quite a few things today, but let's see. If you were to create a story or book of your life from when you were born to now, what would that title be called?
Man, I think, it took me a while to kind of, think about it. When I say the name, you're going to be like, it took you that long to figure out this. That's going to kind of be the theme there. But I would just call it The Waves. Honestly, simple, straightforward. And a lot of that goes to kind of what we were talking about and, going through life, and you have all these waves, these ups and downs and all these different things. You have, maybe sometimes you might be sideways, who knows, right? Life throws a bunch of different things at you. And, being able to kind of ride that wave and understand that on the other side of it, is something amazing that we haven't seen yet. And, those are just super important things to kind of keep in mind as you're maybe going through things, is that this is just a wave and what's going on. It's not going to, be forever. This is something that we're going to work through. Sometimes it takes longer than other times. And again, that's perfectly normal and okay. But just, going through it that way. So I think, that's the title I'd have to go with.
I like that. I like that analogy too, right? There's small waves, there's big waves, right?
Right.
Sometimes big waves are really
maybe a rip current.
Yeah, they're they're real scary, the big waves, but guess what? Sometimes the satisfaction, the reward from those big waves is pretty darn awesome, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely.
That's
So
a
that's
great
just
analogy.
what it's got to be. And then, you can always throw it into, the wave being, like just a fun time, right? A blast. Think of the wave pool, right? Or something like that. The small wave boogie board, just nothing but fun. The other side.
I was just thinking about the wave that the audience people do.
And yeah, that'll work too. That's exciting. That's also a very fun time. And look how many people it brings together. Look at that.
Dude, you're so right. So right.
Sports will do that. Sports is a crazy place.
Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 questions left, Danny. You ready? Okay, so first one is just going to be, this is like your time for you to share whatever you want. So anything you want to share with the people, if you want to do any plugs for any businesses, if you want to share your socials, whatever, this is like your whatever time to do whatever you want. So after you.
So I'm up. I guess I'm up. So as I mentioned, Ziggy's Coffee, shout out to Ziggy's for sure. We are a local company that is growing nationwide, which is super exciting. If we're not in your area yet, we absolutely will be. That's for sure. But, follow us on Instagram. It's Ziggy's_coffee, Ziggy's. And maybe we could tag that in somewhere, but, we'll get the spelling to you guys. But check us out. We have a lot of really good options, gluten-free options, sugar-free options, all the good stuff there. I'm always welcoming new followers. You can follow me on Instagram, Danny_Lebeck. And then, since I'm repping that hat right now, I'll give them a little shameless plug here. In Honey We Trust, shout out to Emily and her team at Honeycomb Hair. They have some good merch. I had to throw the hat on. Love the vibe. They are a salon, so they do really amazing work. So shout out to them. And other than that, thank you guys for hanging out and listening. That's really, I'm pretty easy going guy.
Sweet. Okay. Well, what I'll do is I'll post those at the bottom of the video. So any of that stuff, so people can share that. And I do have a weird question, by the way. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
So you said, why would you do hats at a hair salon? Aren't you covering up your work of art?
Hey, that's, I get the question, but I'll say you got to have some swag. Whatever it is that day you wake up, you're going to the gym, you leave the gym, throw your hat on, it's all good. So I'd say that's what it's for. They do great work for sure.
That's awesome. No, I love that. Okay. So how I like to end these calls is I like to have the previous guest create a question for the guest that's on now. And then obviously you're going to create a question for the next guest. So this is like a surprise curveball that you weren't expecting. Are you ready?
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So let's see what we got here. Okay. So this question is, what legacy do you want to leave?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's one that'll get you thinking. But I would have to say, legacy I want to leave behind is to everyone, I'm someone that really wanted to inspire people. I was an inspiration to a lot of people. I was a motivator. I was able to be there for people when they needed it. And just a fun guy to be around. We have enough stuff going on, and let's have some fun doing it. And, I hope people can look back and say, yeah, Danny was a joy to be around. Had some good insight as well. It wasn't always fun and games. He had some fun things to say, some good things to say, but, really, an inspiration and a motivator, I think, are two big things that I kind of like to hang my hat on, this with any interaction that I have. Hopefully that, when people leave any kind of conversation we had, they're feeling, motivated or thinking a little bit more about something, and kind of getting their brain moving in a different direction. And so I guess that would be my answer there.
I like that. Okay. So what question do you want to leave the next guest?
I'll say just, we're always kind of learning and finding things that pique our interest. So, what's a book or an article that they have recently read that has caught their eye and has been kind of maybe a little more thought-provoking?
Okay. So let's reread this real quick. So what book or article have you read that has been thought-provoking?
Yeah. And just kind of caught their interest in a different way.
Yeah. Sweet. Okay. Anything else that you want to share?
I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit in this call.
Yeah, we did. Okay, cool. Well, hey, Danny, I appreciate you hopping on, and I'm sure we'll probably do it again sometime.
Yeah, no doubt. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. Well, I will see you later.